Hi, my name is Keith Sellers. My speech today is titled, Why Do Cats Always Seem to Lick Themselves? It seems as if every cat that I've ever seen has been victim to some overpowering urge to lick itself. I've often wondered if there is an actual reason for these actions, or if the nonstop grooming was simply a genetic carryover from some long-forgotten ancestor whose reason for this seemingly uncontrollable licking disappeared well before the dinosaurs died off. I often suddenly decide that it's time to find the answer to something that I don't know on the spur of the moment. Depending upon where I'm at the time that the notion strikes, I'll find myself sitting in front of a computer within minutes. This was one of those times. I wanted to find out any valid theories that attempted to explain why cats lick themselves. It turns out that what I thought I knew as a child about the subject was not the whole picture. From my early days, I had deduced that cats must really like to clean themselves because they're always licking their paws and rubbing their faces. It made sense as a child, but as an adult, I wanted to dig deeper. I wanted to know why a cat would really care about being clean. It turns out there is indeed a reason, in fact, many reasons. According to Answers.com, when a cat licks its fur to remove dirt and debris, the action actually helps maintain a waterproof quality. This action helps keep the animal warm on cool days because cool water is kept away from the skin of the cat. Have you ever seen a cat that's been out in the rain long enough to be thoroughly soaked? If you have, then you know how cold the animals can become by how their bodies shake and how their pitiful meows try to convince you to help them. You may have noticed that a cat at times will tug on its fur. It turns out that what I thought I knew about this action was completely off base. Common sense would seem to dictate that when a cat is tugging on its fur, it must be trying to get something unstuck from it, maybe some gum or pine sap from a tree. This makes sense, right? Well, not entirely. While this explanation may be true at times, more often than not, a cat will tug at its fur to stimulate glands to release a secretion that helps keep the fur waterproof. The fact that the fur has been cleaned in preparation for the application of this secretion works out perfectly. An added benefit of the cleanliness achieved by this licking is the removal of parasites that would otherwise hide in the cat's fur. I thought at this point during my research that I had covered most of the reasons that a cat might want to groom itself. However, there's much more to the story. It turns out that the licking action is an ingenious organic climate control system. In the cooler months, a cat helps maintain a layer of insulation by keeping its fur fluffed up as much as possible. This can only be accomplished with clean, dry fur. By fluffing the fur while cleaning, a cat creates an organic layer of loosely packed insulation between its skin and the outside cooler air. Just as thicker, fluffy insulation works better in our homes than thin, tightly packed insulation, the same is true in animals. As a counter to the insulation effect, a cat will lick itself in a manner that leaves excess saliva on its skin during the warmer months. As the saliva evaporates, so does the heat. According to the ASPCA, grooming, the official name for licking, can also have psychological effects. Cats may lick themselves to help reduce stress or anxiety. When a cat suddenly starts licking itself when under heavy stress, the animal is experiencing what's termed displacement anxiety. This occurs when the cat is faced with two distinct choices, such as the choice to either fight or to run. Faced with such conflicting choices, some cats will choose a third option, to simply sit down and start grooming themselves. In these situations, the grooming appears to have a very calming effect. A similar effect is the bonding through grooming that is shared between a mother cat and her kittens. By now, I really thought that I must have covered every reason that a cat might groom itself during my research, but as fate would have it, I was once again proven wrong. According to Cats and Kittens magazine, and yes, there is a Cats and Kittens magazine, although cats love to be stroked and petted, they do not like your scent on them. One result of a cat's continual licking of its fur is that it removes your scent and restores its own scent. According to the ASPCA website, this behavior is genetic and biological in nature. Cats by nature are predators. By minimizing their scents, a cat reduces its chance of being smelled by its prey. This behavior is purely instinctive and is simply an outward sign of biological characteristics and tendencies. The last reason for a cat licking itself that I will discuss today is one that involves zoopharmacognosy, the scientific name for self-medication by animals. According to Wikipedia, in what seems to be a well-documented article, cats, as well as other animals, will often self-medicate. In the case of licking of an open wound, the saliva in a cat's mouth has been shown to contain enzymes that inhibit bacterial growth and actually aid in the healing process. Not only will a cat clean dirt and debris out of an open wound, but by licking it, the cat can cause the wound to heal faster than it would otherwise. What seemed like a quick trip to Google to find out why my cat licked itself so much turned out to be a highly educational experience. Such enlightenment about something that seemed so trivial really opened my eyes to just how complex the world is around me. I'm sure I will find myself asking similar questions about other seemingly trivial everyday occurrences, but until the next episode arises, I will rest comfortably knowing that I know a little more about my world today than I knew yesterday. Thank you.